Hello everyone, welcome once again to second part of solar panel sales analysis. In this part we are actually doing sales analysis, that means revenue analysis, where you will see total sales by month. Obviously this is the same graph, but for our students we will create them. In one of them I will try to show you how to create these minimum, maximum and average lines. In this chart you can see this is sum of quantity by year and quarter, where we can actually see forecast lines. So how can we create this section of forecast? So we will see usage of trend analysis also. And here we have total sales by year, total sales by segment, average of efficiency by panel type. And this is actually based on the question that we have. So we have some questions in our tutorial that we are going to discuss today. Other questions you can solve yourself also, otherwise we will solve them in other examples, maybe part 3 of this tutorial. And here you will learn all of this. For example, what is contribution of 2025 in total sales? What is the first sale date by panel type? These type of things will be calculated with the help of these measures. So today we are going to create a new measure table where we are going to create new measures and experiment something. So let's get started with this tutorial. So basically we are continuing our solar panel sales analysis project. In the first part we considered wattage report. Like in the data set we had information of sale date. On this date what type of solar panel was sold, in which segment was it sold, and wattage. Like every solar panel has a wattage. So if one solar panel of 400 watts is sold, that means this is the wattage information. It has a efficiency, voltage at maximum power, current at maximum power. So we did part 1 where we created this basic dashboard where we analyze wattage by month, quarter, etc. So you can go and watch the part 1. In this part we will solve more questions. So I'm just duplicating that report, and this will be report 2, and we have the questions here. So now we solved some questions like what is year to date sales, what is difference in sales versus previous month. So we discussed the functions, month over month change, year versus year change. Now this is very important question. What is the first sale date per panel type? Okay. So sometimes question will be asked like this. So the question simply asks that in the data set we have two type of panels, polycrystalline and monocrystalline. These are two panels, and for both panel types what is the first sales. Okay. So so for that, like if we go and see, and actually if we arrange the date in ascending order, 2 January 24 for monocrystalline and 6 January 24 for polycrystalline seems to be the earliest date. But let's try to do it this way. So first sale date can be calculated dynamically, and here you can see first sale date, calculate first sale date. Now understand, we have used calculate function a lot, so let's calculate the first sales date. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new table. So in modeling tab I will create a new table, and I will call this table measures table, and I will just create an empty table. Is it okay? This a good practice is to put your measures in a separate table. So we now in the measures table now we are going to create another measure. and it is solar panel sales. So I am just going to write solar panel sales here. This. So we have studied calculate function many times. In calculate function, you will learn that every time we try to solve something, we try to get a single value, but on the basis of a particular condition or a filter. So that is what is happening here. And if you remember, we studied a function called all except. This all except function takes first argument as the table and second argument as the column, and it returns all the rows in a table except for those rows that are affected by specified column filter. Okay, so it returns all the rows in a table for those rows that are affected by the specified filter. So here we are applying a specified filter panel type, so it will give the table but all except panel type, and this way we will be able to calculate the first date. And when we are creating the first date, we are using our table name, and in our table name we are selecting the sale date. Okay, and every time we will commit this, so this will create first sale date.
mentioned
Yeah,
column.
yeah, so all clears all the filters.
Maybe it's a
So this
different
is
function.
all except. No, in all except, what it gives is it removes all context filters in the table except filter that have been applied. Okay, so the column for which context filter must be preserved. So if question is like, here we have all table, remove all filters, but all except table, remove all filters in the table except filter that are applied to the specific column. Okay, what is the question? The question that is asked here is earliest sale date for each panel type. See, it can be anything. It can be sum of sales for each panel type or something like that, right? Here we are asking earliest sale date. So here we are actually studying three functions. One is calculate, one is first date, and one is all except. First date will, uh, what will first date do? If you will write first date, it will give first date of a column. Okay. Now, so this is something that we will get, but the filter that we are applying is all except. So we will clear all filters but except panel type. So this will create
Sir,
first sale date, and yes,
So you already imported a sales panel sales table, sir. But again, you are created a measure table. In that measure table, how did you bring the column, the first sales? uh,
by
in the same
by
solar
by
panel?
going here and creating a new measure in the measure
Mm.
table. See, usually what we do, like what we have studied so far,
We
we
we take
create we create measures in the same table, right, where we have the data. But sometimes it becomes messy, right? You can see there are so many calculated columns here. So what we do is, most of the times we create a separate measure tables. It's an empty table. See, it's an empty table. It is
yeah.
just a table that we have created. Now once this table is created, we will go inside this and create a measure. Okay, and in
Mm.
that measure we will put something. For example, if we want to find out what is total sales value, so in which column do we have sales amount? Sales amount, right? So instead of creating in this table, we will go to measure table and write sum of solar panel sales amount INR. Okay, so this will and this measure will be total sales, right? and once you
Yeah.
will create, so it will be created inside this table. Now we can replace here. So in the previous example, we created a report considering wattage in mind. Wattage was our target field. This time total sales will be our target field. So here we will do solar panel sales analysis, revenue EDA or something like that. Okay. So we will do revenue EDA or sales EDA or forecasting. We'll see that. So here you can see actually the total sales is this. So it is better to create measures in one table and keep your columns as such. Okay. This will help you in analysis of, like, see, it's not necessary, it's not mandatory. This is something that you can do to separate your measures from your actual columns. Okay. That way it will be easier for us to pick columns or measures accordingly. So now we have created one more column called first sales date. Now if we add it here, okay, so this is going to show us the first sales date, whatever is the first sales date, it is showing. So when you will write, and let's say we want to show size of 25, okay, so it is showing first sales date is 2/1/2024. Okay, if I further reduce it, and it is showing date and time also. So this is doing that. What if I go to this table, okay, and here in, or I create a simple multi-row card. In multi-row card, if we select panel type, see, I am also trying different ways to show this data, and then we'll decide which one is the best. So from here we will select the panel type. Where is panel type? This. So here we will drag panel type. So you can see it is automatically showing monocrystalline, polycrystalline. And if I drag first sale date, so now for monocrystalline it is 2/1/24, and for polycrystalline it is 6/1/24. Is it clear? So let us go to values, and now we can increase the value size a little bit, okay, because I don't want to show the timing. And here we have color, so we can select the same you know target color that we had, this one. And now these are the category labels. We can make them bold or use the orange or yellow color that we used earlier, and here we'll make it bold, and let's increase the size a little bit. So now what this multi-row card has done, this is showing us panel name. Okay, so if you go to values, it is showing you panel name, okay, monocrystalline and polycrystalline, and panel name wise it is showing us data. Why I use this card, why I'm not using any bar chart or uh, pie chart or any other chart, because this is a text like data, right? This first sales date is actually a text like value. What these graph works with are mostly numbers. Like if I select in this case clustered bar, it is not going to show anything, right? It is not going to show anything. So that's why I went with multi-row card. Okay, multi-row card, we can also create a table. So in that table also you will be able to see that. So whatever is your preferred way, if you are using a table, so you can increase the value like this, and you can show the data. So whatever is your preferred way you can use. I'm going to use a multi-row card, and this is our data. So sales in 2025 are there, and sales in 2024 are there. Okay, like if we simply divide the sales in two parts, 2024 and 2025, so you can see in 2024 and 2025 it is 50.58% of total, and in 2024 it is 49.42% of total. This can be sales, this can be wattage, etc. What if I ask you a simple question? What is percentage of sales in 2025 of total sales? So is the question clear to you, both of you?
Yes, sir. Divide, calculate total.
Right? So that means we are saying that what percentage of sales of 25 is actually of total sales. So if we do that, it will be easily done with calculate function. So let's say
Total sum.
percentage sales of
Total.
2025 or something like that. So we will use divide function. Okay.
Sum
In
of.
divide function, we have to use numerator. So in numerator, there will be sales of 2025, right? So you will write calculate sum of solar panel sales amount. Okay. So this will be one argument.
Year. Year.
Second will be that year should be 2025. So you will write year and then you will select the date, and date is actually given as sale date. So you will select year of sale date equal to
25.
2025. So
Again, calculate.
this will take, or this will give us sales
Again,
of, this will give sales of 2025, right? Next, if we simply write
calculate.
no, if we simply write sum of, or if we simply write total sales, right? Do you get this?
Why, sir?
Because total sales is giving you total sales. What is the question? What is percentage sales of 2025 out of total sales? Total sales is already giving you total sales, na? Like this 13 point whatever million it is.
I did not understand.
Total sales is total value, and then we are using a calculated value, right? So if we see, and if we actually try to create a card here, percentage sales of 25 is showing 0.00 whatever it is, because this is actually comparing it, right? So here if we say unit should be none, so it is always going to show, because the difference is very low, because you can see it is also almost 7 million and it is also almost 7 million, right? So if we actually want to see those numbers, we can actually see those numbers. How can we see the numbers? So for example, if we want to see sales of 2025, so what can we do? We can right click, new measure, and we can call it 2025 sales. Is this okay?
Yes, sir. It is clear. It is clear. It's clear.
Right, this is 2025 sales, right? And we actually just have to use the different brackets, and we always have to make sure, have we applied extra brackets there?
Then
I
what
think
about the sum
I
of
think I have applied extra bracket here. Just a minute. First of all, calculate sum of total sales amount, where this is this. So here calculate will end, and then total sales. Now it is okay. Now you can see the value. Okay, 0.51, and that value, that's why I was worried that the answer is not coming properly. So now you can see 0.51, and if you actually want to show it as a percentage, you can go to measure tools and just click here and show it as a percentage. Okay, so it will show you the value as a percentage. So this is percentage sales of 2025 as compared to the total value. So we can simply put it here. Now your question, Shadat, what is your question? So this is percentage sales of 2025. So you can calculate something similar. And another question, that is percentage contribution of segment. Okay. So here we have the formula which we will discuss later. Like for exploratory analysis, we created average of efficiency percentage by panel, where we have put panel type on x-axis and average of efficiency on y-axis. What else can be used for exploratory analysis here? Like for example, here we use sum of wattage by month. We can simply use uh, total sales by month, which will give us an indication that in which particular year total sales value is more. Here in your axis, you will see grid lines. You can enable or disable the grid lines. You can change their color. You can see the grid lines behind them. In your axis, you can see values. You can concatenate labels. You have title, like you can show title only. You can disable the titles. Please try these type of things uh, and try it out. So this is total sales by month. We created total wattage by year, quarter and month in the previous example. So we will simply change it back to total sales by year, quarter and month, which will also show us this example, because in this example we have this drill down feature enabled, so that we can go down and up in one level or two level up. So this is now showing by year and quarter, and this is now showing by year, quarter and month. What else can we put here according to you to compare sales or to see the performance of sales? We know that there are segments also, so we can copy this chart and we can simply put segment name here, and this is segment wise total sales, which is telling us that in commercial load the percentage of sales is slightly more than this. Here in these type of charts, what is this called? Shadat, इसको क्या बोलते हैं? What is this called, Mohan? Like this small detail here, what is this called?
Where, sir?
What is this called?
Segment.
No, this is segment,
Segment.
but what is this called? This particular thing, what is this called? In a chart, what is, like, what is this? What is this called?
This is can be filters.
This is called legend. Okay,
Yeah.
legend.
Sorry.
So you can go and disable or enable legend. Okay. For example, if we are or we can also change the position. For example, we can put it in bottom center. Okay. Benefit of putting in bottom center is, or top center, is that we get a bigger area. Okay. You can also disable it, but then it will be very hard to understand which one is commercial load and which one is residential load. So now you can go to detail labels. In detail label, you can see we have data value. So we can only show category. So now it will only show what type of category it is. If we can only show data value, or we can say category and data value. Okay. So if we will display category and data value, it will automatically show commercial load, residential load. So this is something that we can write here. As we created June 25 wattage sold, like we created in previous case. So if you remember, we applied a formula where we applied that month of date is 6 and year of date is 2025. Okay. So in the similar way, we can create another measure in our new measure table, and this will be June 25 sales. So what should we do here to calculate June 25 sales? Simple answer is we just have to replace this with amount. Okay, and once you will replace this with amount, so this will be June 25 sales, and we will simply remove it from here because our previous example was for it was for wattage report, and this one is for this data. Now there is one more important thing I want to introduce here, which we will discuss in other examples also. Okay, give me just a minute. So now there is one more thing. Obviously we have created these examples, so you can always try. We can show the data like this as well, and this one like this as well. I'm not focusing too much on design at this moment for them. Thing is, suppose this data is created. This is showing what? Total sales by date. Okay, and if I am at this level, or do you know how to use the drill down feature? Do you guys know that, and have you guys used that? Have you guys used the drill down feature? In drill down feature, what is it showing right now? Total sales by year, right?
So what will true will do?
So here you can see when you will click on it to drill down. Okay, now these two arrows will come in handy. One is a parallel arrow and one is like a multi-level arrow. Can you see here?
Yes, sir. ये
So the thing is, what is the next date part after year? What is the next biggest date part after year? So this parallel will bring the next biggest date part, quarter. What is the next date part after quarter?
hierarchy.
Month.
Yes.
So it will show you month. And what is the next? You read here, year, quarter, month, day. So it
Day.
is day. So now it will show. So this parallel will give you a summarized version. Okay. Summarized means if there are 2 years, then in these 2 years there will be 4 quarters. If there are 20 years, then also there will be 4 quarters, right? So it will just give you, or it will consider quarter, month, day, and year as a categorical value. Okay, but if you will click here, then you are seeing 2024 quarter 1, 2024 quarter 2, 3, 4, and now you are seeing 2025 quarter 1. So this one will treat quarter as a continuous value. Okay, because in 2024 it will give you 4 quarters, and in 2025 it will give you 4 quarters. If you click further, then here you will see by month. So for every quarter, every month, every year you will get data. And if you will click further, that's why you are seeing continuous value. So if we have around 1000 dates, so you will see 1000 dates. So the only difference between these two is these parallel lines treat the date part as a categorical value, and these hierarchical lines treat date part as a continuous value, just like date. So whatever you have to see, you can change from here. Now here there is total sales and month. Obviously, you can go here and change markers and all that you will try today. Now if you will click on this graph, so here you can see we have the style settings, and here you can see we have add further analysis. If you will click on add further analysis, okay, in your add further analysis part, you can find the minimum line and maximum line. So for example, if we add a minimum line of total sales, you can see a minimum sales line is added. Can you see? Similarly, if someone asks you to show maximum value here, so you can add a line and it will show you the maximum value. So wherever minimum sales is there, okay, so that line will come here, and in that line you can show red color that this is minimum value, okay, this is minimum value, and this is maximum value, and that's why you can also show average line. So this will give you average line. Average line we can give it a different color. So in average line we can show, let's say we are showing a purple color, okay. So this way actually you can show, and you can reduce the transparency. So if you will reduce the transparency, obviously the line will become darker. So these things are also you are going to try as your homework, okay. Reduce transparency, try adding these lines to your visual, because these lines will help you in understanding which proper or which months are above average, which months are below average, in which month or quarter do we actually have the minimum value, where we have the maximum value, how far are other points from minimum or maximum. That is something that we are going to get. Mohan, are you asking something? So this is available in this chart, and it will work like this, right? If you will uh, click on these visuals, then it will work. So here you can see maximum line is adjusting itself, average line. So you can see March is above average, right? September is above average, May is also above average, but on the other hand, April, February, January, October, and November are all below average, and actually January has the minimum value. So try adding these lines also and understand sales data. Okay. There is one more simple thing. Let's say we copy this, and we have the data like this. So anytime we can always convert it to a funnel chart or something to see the values like this. But here we have more values, like in solar panel sales, we have panel type, segment that we have seen, and we have quantity also. So something that we can do is, instead of this, we can find out total quantity. What is the total quantity sold? Okay, this is showing total sales by month. We can always click on this, and instead of this we can show total quantity by month. So whatever are your important fields to analyze, you can put them here, and in your trend analysis you can go and you can change these lines. So here we have sum of quantity by year. If I click on expand all down one hierarchy, okay, then you will see that this is showing quantity by year and quarter. Now in trend analysis we will find a forecast line, okay. So now this forecast line is going to predict value. So we actually have the actual values up to 2025 quarter 4, but if we click on forecast, we can say we want to forecast for next 2 points, okay, and I can apply. So now it is forecasting value for next 2 points, like for quarter 1 and quarter 2 of 2026. So this way you can also enable forecast. So this is sum of quantity by year and quarter and the forecast. So, and this is something that we are going to discuss in one more example, because someone can ask you how can you forecast values in Power BI. So this is how you can forecast. You have to use the trend analysis line. Okay. So now we will connect in our next class with more examples, and whatever examples were not properly solved today, we will come up with better solutions for them. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.